There are places on this earth that do not want to be known. Places where the cold is not merely a temperature but a presence, a will. The Ural Mountains have always been such a place. And in the winter of 1959, 9 young Soviet hikers learned that lesson in the most absolute way imaginable. 1. The group. Their names deserve to be spoken aloud. Igor Dyatlov, 23 years old, the group's leader, a precise, meticulous engineering student from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. Zenaida Kolmogorova, cheerful and iron-willed, who kept a diary of small joys. Yuri Doroshenko, broad-shouldered and reliable. Lyudmila Dubinina, 20 years old, the youngest woman, who documented everything. And 5 others, each of them experienced mountaineers, each of them trained to survive exactly what the Urals could throw at them. Together, they were Category 3 hikers, the highest certification in the Soviet Union for ski trekking expeditions. They set out on January 23, 1959, their destination the summit of Otorten, a mountain whose name, in the language of the indigenous Mansi people, translates with an unsettling simplicity, "Don't go there." The group had traversed terrain like this before. They had trained for this. They had all the equipment they needed, all the knowledge, all the strength of youth and Soviet determination behind them. What they did not have, what no one, it turned out, could have prepared them for, was whatever it was that waited at the foot of Kholat Syakhl. The cold at Dead Mountain does not announce itself. It simply arrives and then it takes. 2. The last entry. On the night of February 1st, 1959, the group set up their tent on the exposed eastern slope of Kholat Syakhl. It was a strange choice. Experienced hikers would normally seek the tree line, shelter, warmth, protection from wind. Instead, they pitched their large canvas tent on an open incline at -30 degrees Celsius with gusts that could knock a person flat. Some investigators have since suggested Dyatlov chose the exposed position deliberately to practice high-altitude camping techniques. Others have suggested the group was too exhausted to descend to safety. No one truly knows. The last photograph, taken by the group's cameras, recovered later from the snow, showed them setting up the tent. Their expressions, blurred by the cold and the motion of gloved hands, revealed nothing unusual. No fear, no warning, just 9 people making camp, the way they had done dozens of times before. What followed, in the darkness of that February night, is the question that has refused to die for over 60 years. 3. What was found? When the group failed to send a telegraph signal on February 12th, alarm was slow to build. Hikers ran late, mountains swallowed schedules. It was not until the end of February that a search party, part military, part volunteer, all deeply reluctant, reached Kholat Syakhl and found the tent. It had been cut open from the inside, not unzipped, not torn by wind, cut with a blade from within. The opening was jagged and frantic, the kind of cut made by hands that were shaking, or hands that were desperate to get out in the fastest possible way, without a single moment's delay. Inside the tent, the searchers found the hikers' belongings in perfect order. Shoes lined against the wall, food provisions partially eaten, journals, cameras, equipment. Everything that would keep a person alive in -30 degrees Celsius weather had been left behind. The 9 had run into the night barefoot, in their underwear, in the deep winter dark of the Ural Mountains. Whatever they fled from it faster than they could think, faster than survival instinct, faster than reason itself. 4. The bodies. 5 of the 9 were found first, scattered across the slope below the tent in a trail descending toward the tree line. The positions of the bodies told a story of people who had tried desperately to return. Dyatlov himself was found face up in the snow, his body turned back toward the tent, one arm raised slightly, as if he had died still trying to crawl back for the gear he knew would save him. Kolmogorova was found nearly a kilometer from the tent. She showed signs of having fought hard to survive. She had not made it. The cold had claimed them. Hypothermia, the investigators said. It was tragic, certainly. Inexplicable in terms of why they had fled, but the cause of death, at least, seemed clear. Then the remaining 4 were found, in May, buried under 4 meters of snow in a ravine near the forest's edge. And the explanation began to collapse. Nikolai Thibault-Brignol had a severe skull fracture. Lyudmila Dubinina and Semyon Zolotaryov had catastrophic internal injuries, broken ribs, crushed chests of a force investigators compared to a car crash. Yet there was almost no external bruising, no wounds on the skin. The injuries were internal, massive, and utterly inconsistent with a fall or a fight. One forensic examiner, searching for language adequate to the reality before him, wrote in his report that the force required to produce such injuries was beyond human strength, and Dubinina, her tongue was missing, not decomposed, not removed by animals in any way consistent with known scavenging behavior. Simply gone, along with her eyes and parts of her face, in a manner that pathologists struggled to explain, then quietly stopped trying to explain in official documents. 5. The unanswered. The Soviet government sealed the case files. For 30 years, the documents were classified. When they were finally released, investigators and journalists and obsessives pored over them, searching for the answer that the original inquiry had refused to provide. What they found was a collection of strange details that no single theory has ever fully absorbed. Photographs from the group's cameras showed blurry orbs of light above the tree line, lights that several other groups in the region also reported seeing that night. The hikers' clothing, when tested, showed abnormal levels of radioactivity. The skin of some of the bodies had turned a deep, unnatural orange, a tent so perfectly organized it suggested no panic before the flight. And yet a flight so panicked, it left every protection behind. Theories have multiplied like frost on glass. A military weapons test, a katabatic wind of unprecedented force, an avalanche, though no avalanche evidence was ever found. Infrasound, ball lightning, a confrontation with the Mansi people, who were investigated thoroughly and entirely cleared. Paranormal explanations that the rational mind resists, but that a cold, dark slope at 3 in the morning makes feel uncomfortably possible. In 2019, Russian prosecutors reopened the case and announced with considerable confidence that a small avalanche was responsible. The conclusion satisfied almost no one who had studied the details carefully. The slope's angle was wrong for an avalanche. The snow displacement was inconsistent. The internal injuries remained unexplained. The tent remained cut from the inside. There is a specific terror in a mystery that refuses every answer. It suggests that the world contains mechanisms we are not equipped to understand. 6. What the mountain keeps. What is certain, 9 people of exceptional competence went into the Urals and never came back. What drove them from their tent on that night? What thing, what force, what impossible event extracted them from their only shelter with such urgency that they left their shoes behind and ran barefoot into temperatures that would kill an unprotected person in minutes? Is a question that has outlasted the Soviet Union, outlasted the investigators, outlasted every tidy explanation offered in its wake. The pass is called Dyatlov Pass now, named after the young man found with his arm still reaching back toward the tent he could not quite reach. It is a place you can visit if you want to. Hikers still go. Some return with photographs of the landscape, beautiful, brutal, gray and white and enormous, and a feeling they struggle to describe. A feeling, most of them say, that the mountain was aware of them being there, that something in the dark above the tree line was watching, patient and ancient and entirely unmoved by whatever it is that human beings are. The Mansi knew this, of course. They named the mountain before any of this happened, Dead Mountain, and the neighboring peak, the destination that drew 9 bright young lives into the Urals on a frozen winter night. Don't go there. The mountains knew. They were always trying to tell us.